We are back again in Madhupur village. It's been 15 years since we last visited the three brothers. Before we start, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe so you won't miss our latest videos. And let's meet our characters after 15 years. Rahim, the eldest brother, is now a successful businessman, living in a big city. He got married to his cousin's sister Jamila and chose to settle down at his in-laws' house. Now he has a wife, 2 kids, a business, and is financially stable. In short, he has everything one could ask for in life. Jamal, the youngest brother, also found his happily ever after, married a girl from his father's village, and currently lives with his wife's parents. His wife Shahana is expecting their first child soon. But what about Karim, the middle brother? He still lives in his late father's village. In fact, he could never bring himself to leave Madhupur. It's not like he didn't try, though. For the first few years after his brothers left, Karim and his wife would make plans and get ready to leave their village, but they never did. Every time they planned to pack up and go, Karim would think about all the moments he spent in this village, how he played under the shade of this banyan tree as a child, how he learned to cycle in the dirt road nearby, and how he lost his front tooth running behind a ball. All these memories were deeply rooted in this soil. So he would always change his mind at the last moment and give up his plans of leaving. He was the only one among the 3 brothers who never left Madhupur. One day, a strange young man named Nur came to Karim's hut. As it turns out, Nur was the son of Karim's uncle, who was also an orphan. His parents died in a road accident, and he came to live with his relatives in the village. At first, he stayed with another uncle, but the man was mean and ill-tempered, so Nur decided to move in with his aunt and Uncle Karim instead. One evening, when Karim opened the door and saw Nur standing there with a bag, he asked, "Who are you?" Nur replied, "Uncle, I am your Uncle Babiel's son. Nur, I came to live with you." After hearing this, Karim understood everything and welcomed him warmly. At that time, Nur was 17 years old and a very handsome boy. From the moment he entered Karim's home, he addressed Karim and his wife as uncle and aunt. He ate dinner with them, sat by the hearth, and slept in the corner of the room. That night, Karim and his wife couldn't help but feel grateful for having Nur in their lives. They made plans to talk to Nur the next morning about how he would study and what kind of work he would do. As the days went by, Nur became an inseparable part of the family. But Karim's brother never came back to take Nur with him, and thus the family began to accept Nur as their own son. Fast forward 10 years, Nur, who was once a 17-year-old boy, is now a strong and healthy young man. Meanwhile, Karim's eldest daughter, Rahina, completed her primary education at her grandfather's home and is now studying in Class 8. She's a bright student and often visits her parents during weekends. Every Friday afternoon after her school gets over, Rahina would take a bus to her grandparents' house. There she would spend the night and have breakfast before leaving for her school the next day. On Saturday, after her classes ended, she would return to her parents' home. Her routine was always the same. She would finish her homework as soon as she reached home and then spend some quality time with her family. After dinner, she would sleep in her little bed while listening to the sounds of crickets. On one such Saturday, after finishing her homework, Rahina went out to play. She wanted to fly a kite, so she took one of the kites her father had bought for her and went out. When she reached the field, she took a deep breath and said to herself, "Let's fly a kite today. Let's forget all worries and troubles." Suddenly, a gust of wind blew and caught the kite. It rose high above the ground, almost touching the clouds. "How beautiful!" Rahina exclaimed. As she held onto the thread, the kite flew steadily through the air. Each turn and twist of the kite fascinated her. She forgot about everything else and focused solely on flying the kite. After a while, Rahina noticed the kite thread was getting thin. Soon it snapped and the kite fell into a nearby jute field. "Oh no!" she cried. The jute field was far from the road and she could see her kite lying in the middle of it. There was no way she could retrieve it without going into the field. Taking a deep breath, Rahina stepped into the field. She tried to walk close to the edges, but slowly found herself in its center. She looked around and saw a narrow path between the jute stalks. Walking down this path, she thought she could reach the other side and retrieve her kite. After walking a while, she heard someone call out, "Hey, pretty girl, why don't you stop for a while? Come with me. It'll be fun." Startled, she turned around and saw a mischievous-looking village boy grinning at her. Before she could respond, the boy ran towards her and suddenly grabbed her arm. At that moment, the world seemed to stop for Rahina. For the first time in her life, she experienced the touch of a man. Her heart raced as she pulled her arm away from him. Then she began to scream, "Help! Somebody! Help me!" Hearing her scream, the boy panicked and ran away. Rahina wiped her tears and ran towards home as fast as she could. The incident left her feeling ashamed and afraid. She had never imagined something like this could happen to her. As she walked home, she wondered why the boy had touched her, and why he had tried to stop her from leaving. All these questions kept her awake at night. She couldn't understand what had happened to her and why. When she finally reached home, she fell into her mother's arms crying. Her mother cradled her and asked, "What happened, my child? Why are you crying?" Rahina couldn't speak. She just kept crying in her mother's arms. Seeing his daughter in such a state, Karim's heart sank. He couldn't understand what had happened to her. As Karim's wife calmed Rahina down, Karim went out to find the boy who had harassed her. But by the time he found the boy, Rahina had already gone home. He asked the boy why he had misbehaved with Rahina, but the boy only laughed and said he was just playing. Karim lost his temper and gave the boy a good scolding. Then he went home. When he entered the room, he saw Rahina sleeping in her bed. His heart broke seeing his innocent daughter like this. He couldn't understand what to do or how to talk to her. Nur, who was serving tea to Karim's wife, said in a low voice, "Aunt, what happened to Rahina? Why is she sleeping during the day?" Karim's wife looked at Nur and said sadly, "Some boys from the village teased Rahina on her way home. She was badly shaken by the incident. That's why she's asleep now." Nur couldn't believe what he heard. He couldn't understand why those boys had done such a thing. That night, Karim couldn't sleep, kept thinking about what happened to his daughter. It was the first scar on her young life, and it was his duty to protect her from now on. If you did, please let us know in the comments section below. We'll continue the story in the next episode. Please subscribe and press the notification bell icon so you won't miss any of our updates. Thank you for watching.